King Nebuchadnezzar II of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, who at the time was his empire's most powerful ruler, built the legendary Hanging Gardens of Babylon to beautify the city of Babylon, r. 605–562 BCE. Historians disagree on whether or not these structures count as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Even though some researchers insist the gardens were in Babylon, others keep insisting they were in Nineveh, the Assyrian capital. Some people continue to dismiss the gardens as a myth created in the past. The gardens are described as if they were in Nebuchadnezzar's capital and continued to exist during the Hellenistic period, despite the fact that neither the ancient texts nor the archaeology at Babylon mention this. Is it true, then, that there is a garden hanging above the city of Babylon? We'll be looking into this theory in today's episode of Hallmark History, so please join us. Please share and subscribe. In contrast to the more well-known Greek attractions on the list, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon are the most intriguing of the 7 wonders, due to their exotic nature and the mystery surrounding their whereabouts and disappearance. History of Nebuchadnezzar II in Babylon. The ancient city of Babylon was situated in present-day Iraq, roughly 80 kilometers, 50 miles, south of Baghdad. The earliest known inhabitants of the area lived there in the 3rd millennium BCE. Nebuchadnezzar's father Nabopolassar reigned 625–605 BCE, established the empire by defeating the Assyrians. Later, in 597 BCE, Nebuchadnezzar II accomplished even more, including the conquest of Jerusalem. The king of Babylon then embarked on a mission to build one of the most magnificent cities in the entire world as his capital. In the original gardens of the Fertile Crescent, humans found what would come to be known as paradise. It was from this center that the concept eventually spread throughout the entire ancient Mediterranean. Besides plants and flowers, gardens also featured structures, sculptures, and even water features. Berossus of Kos, who was basically a priest from Babylon named Beelzebub who settled on the Greek island, is the first person to make reference to the gardens in an ancient source. Many of Berossus's descriptions of Babylon have been verified by archaeology, though only a small fraction of his writings have survived to the present day, despite the fact that he only lived to write around 290 BCE. He writes as if the gardens of ancient Babylon were still in existence in the 4th century BCE. A landscape of tall stone terraces resembling mountains and adorned with a wide variety of impressive trees and flowers is described. Amytis, the wife of the Babylonian king, was a maid who missed the green hills of her homeland and for whom the gardens were designed. The gardens of Babylon are mentioned by many philosophers, including the Greek geographer Strabo, circa 64 BCE, circa 24 CE. It was near the Euphrates River, he says, which streams across ancient Babylon. Diodorus Siculus, another scholar from the 1st century BCE, notes that the terraces were 20 meters in height and slanted upward like an ancient theater, 65 feet. They are depicted on a relief panel from Ashurbanipal's North Palace in Nineveh, 668–631 BCE, that is now on display at the British Museum in London. Nineveh, also known as Old Babylon, was home to many beautiful gardens, as attested by both written records and archaeological excavations. The Pasargadae Garden in the Zagros Mountains was commissioned by Cyrus the Great, long after the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were thought to have been founded, d. 530 BCE. All of these gardens had favorable environmental conditions, including proximity to a plentiful water source, the presence of terraces for irrigation, the presence of walls for shade, the presence of clusters of trees for water conservation, and the absence of damaging winds. Herodotus, Callimachus, Antipater of Sidon, and Philo of Byzantium are just a few of the ancient authors who compiled lists of the greatest wonders of the ancient world. Many early lists of the 7 wonders of the ancient world included the gardens of Babylon as well as the city's magnificent walls. After Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon continued to be an important city during the reigns of the Achaemenid, 550 to 330 BCE, and Seleucid, 330 to 63 BCE, empires. Systematic excavations of ancient Babylon began in the Christian era, 1899 CE. Despite the discovery of numerous ancient structures, the legendary gardens remain elusive. Given the extensive coverage the gardens received in ancient literature and their status as one of the 7 wonders of the world, it's hard to believe that they never existed, despite the lack of physical and modern textual evidence. Greek authors or those writing for Hellenistic viewers compile the first list of wonders. Archaeologist continues its painstaking and plodding explorations of the past, maybe soon its existence will be proven. If you want to know why the 7 wonders idea was created in the first place, look no further than the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Whether or not the gardens actually existed, is the first and most intriguing fact to learn. As always, we appreciate you tuning into Hallmark History and we do hope you enjoy today's specials. A like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated.